Welcome back to another episode of Discovering Albanian Entrepreneurs. Today's guests are two sisters who turned passion, education, and pure hustle into a company that's transforming the wellness space. Amanda and Natasha Nikic are the founders of IVOC, IV on Command, a mobile IV concierge service that brings you hydration, energy, recovery, and wellness straight to your home, your business, or your event. What makes their story powerful and cool is not just the brand they built, but the discipline, the sacrifices, and the vision behind it. From growing up in an Albanian household to working in the healthcare field, these two took their skills and turned them into an on-demand service that's elevating the standard of wellness in our community. Today, we're going into their journey, the days before the business, the moment IVOC was born, the challenges they faced, and the wins that push them forward, and where they're headed next. This is the story of two sisters building something real, something needed, and something with purpose. And let's get into it today. Introduce yourselves. Who's Natasha? Who's Amanda?
Hi, I'm Natasha.
And I'm Amanda.
All right. Well, nice to meet you both. For those who don't know you yet, who are Amanda and Natasha, and where do you guys come from? What is your background?
Well, we're sisters. We're both nurses. Natasha was actually my inspiration.
I went to nursing school first, and she decided to copy me.
Yes, the same exact nursing school.
I love that.
I followed in my sister's footsteps.
Yeah.
What monkey see, monkey do. Right?
Yeah, totally.
Well, what was life growing up for you guys? What kind of brought you into the whole medical world, and what got you kind of intrigued into that?
Well, I feel like our parents didn't really give us much of a choice of what to do. They basically said you're going to be in the healthcare field. Nursing was the best pick for us. Natasha, like we said, started that path for me, and then I kind of led into it. I actually wanted to be an archaeologist.
And I wanted to be a meteorologist.
But they said that was not a real job. So we're lucky that we listened to them, though, because through the times and even difficulties in the world, healthcare industry kind of keeps going strong. So
yeah,
we didn't lose our jobs, and then we were able to make something out of it always.
I like you guys answer that question, because that was going to be my next one. What were your early dreams before you got into this?
Yeah.
So,
but what's funny about that though, they're both science, right? Like, okay, I wanted to be a weather girl on TV, and
I wanted to dig for bones, and now it just makes sure your bones are okay.
that would have been actually pretty interesting, having an Albanian archaeologist.
I could still do it in my later phase in life.
You never know.
Anytime, yeah.
You never know. Did you guys ever expect to become business owners? Was that something that you always thought would happen? Or you were just like, oh, I'm going to work for somebody and that's okay for me? Or did you always know you were going to have something where you're in charge?
Yeah, well, for me personally, when I was a young child, I used to always say, I just want to be a business woman. And my parents were more like, no, you're going to be a nurse. And so, I took their advice and I went to nursing school, and that's the beauty of nursing. You can kind of do a lot with it, with your degree. And so I think both of us were able to leverage our skills as nurses and, with our specialty to go ahead and build something of our own.
I like that. I like that you guys are able to kind of create your own path, and also with something like IV on Command, which is not something you'd expect anybody to just randomly start. I mean,
yeah.
What was that moment where you guys were saying to yourselves, like, we need to create something special like this?
Well, I always thought it was our parents made sure that we always had jobs, more than one. I mean, I started working when I was 14, so it's like never one thing, and we did see them struggle sometimes. So we're always important for us to have a backup or hustle, like we're hustlers. But there was a point after COVID where we were busting our chops for other businesses, and when it came time to come back home, visit family, we had a family emergency, and the company was like, no, basically you belong to us, you can't have this time off. And that was when I decided, done with that, I'm heading back home. Then my sister, since she's really great with business and she was doing medical sales, she was like, well, you have the experience and the knowledge, why don't we just start our own thing? And that's kind of how we started at IV on Command.
So that's how IV on Command first came to you. Okay. How long did you sit on the idea before actually starting? Did it take long? Was it quick?
It was like an hour.
Yeah.
Like literally, I came right before Christmas, Natasha brought it up, and I think we started doing a sign up for our LLC. I mean, was it by February? We legally had everything documented, but I was like, okay.
And now for people who do want to get into the business, side of entrepreneur, opening their own business, what were like some of the first steps you guys took into creating your
The
brand,
business?
your business?
Yeah, I think like sometimes people overthink things. And so it's best to just kind of, you have an idea in your mind, just run with it. You can always change. And change is actually part of growing. And so Ivy on Command, I just said, hey, let's just do this. And it was easy enough to kind of think of the name because we were mobile. We thought, we don't want a storefront. We don't want a brick and mortar. We're gonna change this. We're gonna make it a little bit more unique and differentiate ourselves from our competition, which are typically brick and mortar type businesses or med spas. And so we went with a mobile concierge, and then on demand, on command, IV on command was then born. And really the on command part already came from a brand that was already built through Amanda's social media persona. And so
Amanda the Command.
so we took her social media persona and then shifted it to Ivy on Command. And then the concept of Ivy on Command was born, and the logo, for example, too, if you can see that on camera, is that logo is actually the command button on a Mac, and then with an IV drip on it. So that's kind of how that came about.
And we're also, like, we try to get to you really quickly. Like, when people need IVs and they're not feeling well, you want us there within the hour, and that's what we always aim to. So it's kind of on your command, we show up.
Yeah.
Well, I can say from experience, I got to use IV on Command in Miami, which was amazing, and it helped me during a crucial time because I did like 4 weeks worth of traveling where I had no sleep and I was staying up 24 hours like every day, and it helped me immensely. But what research went into like understanding the IV concierge space, and how did you guys like figure everything out at the beginning? Because I know it's probably not just something you automatically jump into and you know everything about it.
Right. So I actually worked in a clinic as a nurse and operating manager for an IV clinic. So I had a few years prior experience infusing people with vitamins, learning about the vitamins, learning the best formulations. But of course, we took steps. We had a pharmacist look over compatibility. We had our lawyers set up the proper steps. We have a medical director to oversee our formulations. So it was a whole mixture of things that went on before.
It's quite more than I actually thought would go into that.
Yeah, but
Gotta be careful.
The thing is, like, Amanda already had the expertise of the IV side of things, and I'm sort of a little bit more on the business
side.
Exactly.
A few of our formulas even just came from our life issues. For example, we get a lot of migraines for some reason in our family, so we made sure that we had a migraine IV. Like, this was something I personally experienced and wanted to get rid of quickly, so we kind of just thought about what we might like or need.
People don't realize you need a lot of hydration.
Yeah.
Someone like my mom probably drinks 2 sips of water all day long, and then she says, "I have a headache all day long." And she doesn't know why. I can tell you. But when you guys first started, were like your family supportive, or were they skeptical? Like, well, what are you guys doing? What kind of business is this? How did that go?
They're always been very supportive of us, but so I was living in Miami. I still am at the time, and that's our primary location. And I, again, left a steady job with a pay to create this. And I know that there was a few months in between, like my parents were especially worried. It's a long time to see things starting to turn around. So they're like, are you going to be okay? But so there's that little bit of worry. But again, like Natasha said, you have an idea, you have to go for it. And that's what I did. I mean, we went for it, and
Yeah.
I'm very happy that we did, and our family has been very supportive.
Yeah, she took a risk on herself, and I always say that's like the number one thing in business. Like you have to be betting on yourself,
Yeah, take
and
a risk.
at the end of the day, it's about you, and this is something you're building. And Amanda was willing to take that risk, so she stepped away full time, which really that was, that was the right thing to do for this particular business.
And
Yeah.
now, for you being the bigger sister, was that something like at first you were maybe skeptical about? Of like, hey, I'm working with my sister. Do I fully trust that she's going to put her all into it for me to put all into it? Like, did you ever have any questions, or you were just like, I'm fully supportive of my sister and I'm fully supportive of the business?
No, I mean, one way I personally thrive is actually by seeing other people's success. And
Mhm.
so I believe that all people are, everyone's different. And so there are different ways to manage people and what their needs are in order to find success. So, like, even with my own children, for example, all of my children are different. And that's okay. It's just how can you take, their passions and create that into something that, is something enjoyable for them and somewhere where they can find success. So
And
even though she's not my child, it's the
kinda
same
am.
thing. Yeah.
If it wasn't for Natasha, like, it was really her idea, and if she wasn't there, like, I almost want to cry. I don't think that I would have been able to create it on my own. Like, she really pushed me and made me believe in myself more. And then she had all the knowledge for how to build the actual business and be successful, where again, I had the hands-on experience. So we kind of made a really good team. We still do.
Yeah, I like that. I like
Yeah.
that because you don't always hear, especially when it comes to being here in America, you don't always hear about siblings getting along
Yes.
or working together or being able to even keep that relationship after creating a business together. So it's good to see two sisters in it now for a couple of years doing it together and companies steadily still growing.
Yeah, for
as
sure.
big as it is now, it's still growing, and I see a lot of potential in it and a lot of use for it because we
Yeah.
all need a night
We all
here and
need
there.
it's preventative health.
And also, I mean, you have a great point. I mean, a lot of people do get into businesses with family and they say, oh, don't ever mix business with family. And that's honestly, I mean, it's definitely a good thing to consider because money can always kind of get in the way. I mean, we actually get along pretty well. Like we've had people ask us all the time, like, do you guys fight or do you?
We really don't.
We don't.
Because she has her roles and I have mine. And we could mix and match them sometimes.
Yeah.
But she's like, has an idea. I'm like, okay, I have an idea. She's like, okay, we give it a go and that's it.
Yeah, because you know where the end game is. So for you guys, it's like you want to reach a certain point together and you already know where that is. So I can see where that chemistry comes in. What was like the official moment when like IVOC launched? Do you guys remember your first client? How that first client felt?
I do. It was actually my friends from Connecticut. My friends supporting my business. They came out to Miami for an event or whatever it was, but it was a large group. So there was like 10 of them, I think. And it's not easy getting in a flow of things. And it was like, okay, I'm starting at 100 instead of 0 or 1. So it was my friends that supported me first, which I'm very grateful, and they still do. And then, it slowly built up the neighborhood clients.
Yeah. And actually, like, that is the way that you should build your business. Like, go to your friends and your family first. Say, hey, I'm starting this and I'd really love for you to support me. And that's how you know who your people are, actually.
Yeah, you can usually see with that smile at the end of it. They're like, all right, that actually did work. It actually was good. And then you get the word of mouth pretty much or something.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So now to kind of get into more of the business and the brand itself and how you guys built it, just to kind of make it clear again for people, what does IVOC offer?
So,
explain some of your services.
Right. So we provide high quality vitamin infusions and hydration to you. It's concierge service. Like we mentioned, we didn't do brick and mortar. So if you're home office, hotel, even a boat, like wherever you are, we go to you. We have a variety of services and formulations according to your needs. So IVOC rep or a nurse will assess you, see how you're feeling. You might just be dehydrated. You might be hungover. You might be catching a cold, or you might want a beauty treatment. So we do see what your goals are today, and we also see what your future goals might be for your next infusions and take it from there.
Perfect. I like that. I need some right now.
Me too.
But to explain your service now to other people, what makes you guys kind of stand out and different from others in the industry? Because just like how you have a mechanic here, another mechanic down the street, what makes you guys kind of stand out compared to everybody else?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, no matter what business you're in, it's about three things. I always talk about building your brand and what is your brand. I think that businesses have to figure out how to differentiate themselves from their customer, and you have to figure out what your messaging is. So, there are several IV companies, and, sometimes we actually work alongside them. We keep them close to us so that if, hey, we need some support or we can't fill all our calls, we actually partner with others. But I think at the end of the day, what makes you stand out is your brand, your service, and how, you can differentiate your service from another's.
Yeah, it's also good that you can have a benefit like that where instead of somebody treating you as competition, they can treat you as an ally, as a friend. You guys can work
Exactly.
together,
Yeah.
go to different events. What were some of like the biggest challenges at the beginning? Were there anything where maybe
Everything.
finances or something like what are some challenges in the entrepreneurial world for your business?
Well, finances is always a scary thing because you're committing, like, it's not like we had a large budget to start with. We gave what we had to start in hopes that there would be some turnaround, which we actually did have a very quick turnaround. I think it was within the first 3 months for our business. But in this industry, there's constant challenges, which more goes around with laws and supply chain issues. So we're constantly seeing issues with that, and we just pivot. We might mix and match our formulas or try to create something new in the meantime to figure out our issues. So just because the challenge might be there or arise, like, we're ready to take it on and,
Yeah.
Has there ever been like one specific moment that made you guys like really like
Scared?
yeah?
I
Yeah.
think that was last October for me when there was a hurricane in North Carolina, I believe it was, that wiped out like 90% of the US IV bags, saline bags.
Yeah.
That was when I said, it's all over. But it wasn't.
Yeah.
Because that's our main product. It's basically one of our only products. So if the bags are gone, our product to sell is
Yeah.
gone. But we found a way around that as well.
Pretty
Yeah.
interesting.
That was scary.
You wouldn't think that they're all
Yes, in one
in
spot.
one spot right there.
They are.
But with everything, like, anytime you experience a setback, you have to kind of, it challenges you to think about what you should be doing, what else you should be doing. So in a business, fine, we have IV services, but at that moment, like, you're thinking, wait, how else am I supposed to diversify myself so that I can bring in additional revenue? So we've tried a number of different things that, e-commerce type products that we wanted to sell, and to try to offset any of those types of challenges. But also back to your other initial question on entrepreneurship and the difficulties is like everything's hard, right? Like you have to be prepared for the grind, period. The one thing that I think that everyone should focus on is finding someone else that's been through it and just networking with them or finding yourself a mentor. So the other aspect of Ivy on Command is we do have a coaching platform for other healthcare providers that also want to own and operate their own business.
Okay.
So we do also provide that as a service when the IV bags sometimes, are low, like then we fall back on another avenue of services. So
So what has been like some of the we'll go between two. Like, what's been the hardest part of being your own boss, and what's been the most rewarding part of being your own boss?
It's really hard working 7 days a week. Like you would think like, oh, I'm my own boss. I'm gonna have more time to like do whatever I want. I don't have to ask for vacation, blah blah blah. But I work literally 7 days a week. In the beginning, I was probably doing easy 16 plus hours every day and not exaggerating that it kind of took a toll even on my health where I had to like pause, take a break, not 16-hour days, but now I could do 8 to 10 easy. And it's just like, if I'm not out there pushing daily, then who is really? So I find that challenging. Sometimes I actually might miss weddings or events with my family and friends because I don't want to leave behind the business and go off somewhere when I should be dedicating like all my time and energy into that.
Yeah.
How would you balance that though between like personal life, running an on-call service? Because you guys are pretty much on call.
Yes.
You're like a plumber or a heat guys that do heating in the wintertime. Like you have to be there 24 hours. Like how do you balance that?
Yeah, and you never know when you're gonna really need IV. Like we do get bookings and pre-appointments, but it's sometimes like you wake up and you don't feel good and you want someone to come right away. It was really hard for me to learn how to balance this. I just try to start my day maybe a teensy bit early, take 10 minutes for myself. Even if it's 10 minutes, I'm grateful. Reflect, manifest, eat breakfast. That one's important. And just try to fit a little something in for myself. Even if it's just not looking at my phone for literally 10 or 15 minutes, take a breath and then start over.
To get into more of like the entrepreneurial experience of it, what skills did your healthcare background give you that help your business?
I think for us specifically, this is an IV business, so we were both skilled in IV.
Although most nurses are not very skilled in IVs, so practice made perfect for us.
Yeah, for sure. But nursing carries a lot of skills of entrepreneurship. Like if you just go back and if nurses are watching this and they think about themselves at work and, perhaps during a shift or, so many things can happen. They have to, manage their 12-hour shift and their time. They have to dispense meds, at a certain time point. So they have to be very organized and structured. They have to kind of stay within that flow. And if there's a code, someone crashes, right? They kind of take control of the environment until the team comes to try to resuscitate someone. And nurses take a lot of that. They have leadership skills and they have a lot of skills and traits that can easily translate into entrepreneurship. So
What skills did entrepreneurship like, or even owning IVOC? Well, what did it force you to learn fast? Was there something like you didn't know about, you had to learn really fast and change up your game plan a little bit? Was there anything that comes to mind?
I mean, yes, I think when we launched this, it was still early on before it was as popular as it is today. And so there wasn't much out there other than Amanda's experience. For example, the regulatory aspect of it, we really had to rely on resources that we either found through the, internet or through our lawyers. We tried to connect with other people that had the business earlier than we had, just to say, hey, what do we do here? And that part in itself was very challenging. But I think most businesses, no matter what the business is, like if you are a business oriented person with that type of mindset, you kind of know the basics. And then with each one of the details, you kind of do a little bit of homework and you end up figuring it out. But if you do have a mentor, that's usually the best avenue.
And now, you being two sisters, who are obviously owners of the brand, I know there's not always perfect moments, but do you guys ever have any moments where like you disagree on certain things or certain issues, and like how do you usually settle to those differences?
I mean,
She just listens to me.
I just literally listen to anything she says. For the most part, there was like really, really early on, I think we were coming up with like pricing or formulas or things like that. But no, I don't barely remember. So we took chances on every month or every few months. Natasha's like, I have an idea, let's invest in this. Or I might have an idea, let's invest in this. I feel like most of the time it might not work. And I'm never mad at her and she's not mad at me. And we gave it a go. That's the best thing you could do. Like, I know she's always trying to make things better, as am I. So
You would say like communication's big between.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
Yeah.
I think it's really important to communicate, but I think communication, especially if it's done, a lot of people are texting and, you can't, when you're texting, you don't know what the other person is, how they're reciprocating that.
You don't know how they feel behind the
No,
phone.
because most people read things with emotion and they might just read it and be like, she's so nasty today. Why did she say that? But I'm just in a rush, right?
Yeah.
So I think communication is really key. And quite honestly, I think people should leverage more AI. Like ChatGPT, for example, if there is a situation and even if it's between us and I'm like, hey, look, my sister and I own a business and today we are disagreeing on this. Give me some tips on how I should approach this situation. And it's like a therapist for businesses.
Yeah,
So,
why not?
I think you should sort of communicate and now, hey, we have the tools, leverage the tools to communicate appropriately.
Leverage the resources.
Yeah.
You guys make a great point with that because if it wasn't for ChatGPT now within the past year, I don't know where I'd be because I use it as my personal assistant
Makes it
for
very helpful.
everything. I literally just had a conversation with a friend of mine where I was like, my ChatGPT is literally like, it knows everything about me now.
Yeah.
And like I go use it for work, I use it for my interviews, I use it for everything. So it is a big part and a big resource nowadays. What keeps you motivated like during slow periods of time, difficult days? What's your biggest motivation for either one of you?
Like keeping this vision alive and also my bills are a big motivator. I mean, we're still living on this earth, right? And there are our daily needs. So I just keep pushing. I know that the slow season will pass, especially like in Florida. We have like this pretty set slow season. It could go a little longer or shorter, but like I'm mentally prepared for it. Again, we have our other passive income coming in with our leadership classes. We decided we created home kits or gear. So it's kind of just
bringing your creativity.
Yes, I feel more creative instead of like worrisome. I think that's.
How do you guys deal with, say, for instance, were you guys open during COVID? Was COVID a period of time where you guys were fully into this yet or not yet?
We launched in 2021, so right after COVID, because I think that, this sort of wave of the wellness really took off post-COVID. People recognized, hey, I should be taking care of myself and the whole self-care.
And the concierge aspect actually very much blew up because I was working in a clinic doing IVs and everyone wanted to come in. But after COVID, nobody wanted to leave their house still. They got used to everything coming to them. And that's why I feel like that we're most successful in the concierge realm. We understood that very quickly. Let's just go to them. Yeah. We don't need a storefront.
And now with doing something like this with the IVs, is there a big overhaul on material, on staffing?
Yeah.
How does that all work out for you guys? Is it difficult to come across certain materials, items?
Yeah.
Or is it now just...
Yeah, I mean, you have to have your mix of vendors and suppliers. So, like, you definitely don't want to put all your eggs in one basket when choosing a vendor. I think that, again, it applies to all businesses. I think you should develop a good relationship with your key vendors, but I do think that you should make sure you diversify that aspect of it because, hey, if one shuts down, then suddenly it's impacting your business. So, yeah.
What are the most common reasons people do book you? Give people insight on what...
They like her.
Yeah.
She's the IV queen.
I've heard I have hands of an angel. We like to be one and done. That's one poke and done.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, like, you had mentioned this earlier, like, what makes us stand out? There's so many other companies, but I honestly think it's, like, the passion that we bring and the experience that we bring. We're still healers. We care. I'm not just trying to upsell you to the most expensive treatment. Like, I'm making conscious decisions to help you out. And they do like that we are a team that they're used to our nurses. Like, you have your hair lady or your nail lady or your doctor. So it's not a random person entering your home every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, like, again, it's just about building trust, and trust gets you that repeat business. Whether, we say that we have a lot of onesies that come to Miami, but even our onesies, that's people like you that you're a
Not
onesie.
alone.
Yeah, you're a onesie, but the onesies come down and then they come back, or they're our biggest referral source. So, and that's because they've enjoyed their experience, they liked us, they trust us. So
Yeah, I mean, after I used it the first time, I told so many people about it, and the fact that it made me feel really good was the best part about it too. But what are your best selling drips or treatments? Like, what is something that you see works really well for your customer base?
So, like, 10 years ago when I started this, like, most people were just getting this for hangovers. I would say now, or post-COVID, our biggest seller is immunity boosters and hangovers. So it's kind of like a 50-50 there. Both include hydration, both include vitamins. One might include meds versus the other, but those are definitely our biggest sellers. So it's like a balance, really. So one week they might be getting self-care, preventative health kind of thing, and then they went out in the week and they might get a hangover bag. So those two are definitely immunoboost and recovery.
So Miami's a perfect place for you.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, the business does well in Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
party life. Party life is probably a good thing to have over there because that's what's going to keep your business running all the time.
Yeah.
How do you maintain like safety, quality, and professionalism with everybody? Because I know you probably deal with clients who are just a regular Joe Schmo, and then you have clients who are a superstar or famous or something. How do you deal with the balance of all your clients?
I mean, I treat everybody the same, whether you are a super celebrity or just a celebrity in your own eyes. We make sure everyone fills out their proper documentations, forms. I mean, if I do have some people that might want me to sign an NDA or make sure it's discreet, we never discuss who our clients are or who our appointments, who I'm going to. We're really closed-lipped about that. So I think that makes people feel comfortable in a sense.
Yeah, I also think that's another part of the business. It's that, again, people trust you. They know that you're not going to be running around saying, I just saw, guess what celebrity I mean, like, it's great.
Unless they want us to tell.
That's
but
a different story.
Yeah.
But and then in terms of safety in general, we have protocols in place. We have a medical director that oversees things. So, and then safety protocols for our nurses as well.
What does a full day for either one of you look like? Let's say on your part or her part. What does a full day look like for you running the business?
Well, most of my days are very much similar. So I really never know when my clients are going to call. So I'm always on call and I'm always prepared. I usually hang around my area of my home or at home until I get a call in. So, check the emails coming in and bookings, review them, and organize who needs treatment right away and or who my next person going to. I now try to implement spaces in between for myself. So I might wake up, go do an IV. If I have a chance, I come home, I might hit the gym, go do the next IV. That's like the beauty of this kind of concierge business. I'm not necessarily stuck in a clinic or a hospital for this amount of hours. I do have the freedom to go stop, say hi to my neighbor next door if I felt like it. Most of the time I don't. Most of the time I don't. I do patient by patient. Client seating is usually around 45 minutes to 1 hour. I'll give myself about 15 minutes, 30 minutes to get to the next place, and I constantly book my day that way. That's how most of my day is going
Yeah.
because I'm out there doing the actual IVs. Her day is a little different.
Yeah. I mean, she's like her day-to-day is Ivy. So
She's in the field.
she's in the field day to day. She's
Yeah,
out
there you
there. She's the face of the brand. So that is her. And you know, we live very different lifestyles. Being that actually she's primarily in Miami and I'm actually up in Connecticut.
I'm a single cat mom.
She's a single cat
A
mom.
real mom.
I'm a real. I have real human. I have humans, and I have pets too.
Yeah,
though.
she does.
But yeah, so our lives just are different. I have other things that I sort of focus on. Maybe more of my work is a little bit more remote. And I'm sort of just handling the business aspect of things.
I also wanted to backtrack on something because you mentioned you guys have your coaching. And actually, one of the questions I did want to ask you before was how important is like continuing education or training in this industry. And now you guys also have your coaching business as well too. And how is continuing education or teaching people how to do the right thing? How is that for you guys in this industry? How hard is it? Is it easy? Is it hard to do?
Yeah, no, in this space, I think it's really important to stay educated on what's happening. Actually, we recently went to a conference on just IV hydration, and there was one of the talks actually was very inspiring because they said to everyone in the group, you are here and you are literally pioneers of what could be happening in with the future of wellness and really incorporating holistic type treatments into treating patients. And I think that was really honestly very motivating to say, okay, like even when it's hard sometimes. You got to really look forward and say, what impact am I making? So,
Yeah. I like that you answered it that way because
yeah.
pretty much where I was gonna go to next is like where do you see the brand in the next year or 5 years? How do you see it progressing? Do you see it going global? Do you see
Yeah.
it? I mean, you probably
We
already
tried.
know global.
We
but,
tried, yeah.
We tried
but
a few
Yeah.
things.
where do you see it in the next 5 years?
I mean, I personally think that sometimes we create a vision and at one point I was like, we're going to have franchise and we're going to be all over the place. But then what I noticed was like, that actually becomes a distraction. And so if you just heavily focus in on your one thing, you're going to grow in ways that you hadn't necessarily even thought about before. You come across different people, you come up with different ideas. And so, where is the brand going? The one thing I do know is I'm very happy the brand is here. Most businesses fail in under 5 years, and we're here, approaching our fifth year actually, and
Nice.
it's gotten better and better every year. So I'm hoping to continue to be creative and really help others that want to own and operate their own business with building their own brands in the healthcare space.
I mean, how many staff members do you guys operate? Is there multiple staff members? Is it just you two? Is there...
Yeah, so at one point we had a lot of staff.
Okay.
We had nurses sort of scattered all over South Florida, but we actually noticed our profit margins weren't where we would like them to be. So we like to keep above a certain profit margin. The businesses can be very profitable, but if you're kind of out there and there's supply constraint and now there's increase in prices and you're sort of getting these supplies out to your nurses. So we had to be a little bit strategic with the amount of people that we're hiring and how we're hiring them. That's why I mentioned earlier that we sometimes partner with other IV companies because rather than taking on all of that potential financial burden, we actually just partner with other like-minded, businesses and source out our calls.
Have you seen pricing of equipment like Has it been a drastic change? Has it just been a steady change?
I mean, I do most of the inventory. I do do the inventory. I don't know what most came. So it depends what's going on in the world. It really is. Like I said, we had this hurricane that was just like boom, changed the pricing. We ended up paying 6 times the amount for one bag. So that was tough. Sometimes they're producing less. So we saw this with, I'm going to give an example, B Complex. The price jumped up about 10 times as well. So, some of our other ingredients we might have removed and or replaced with something else that might have a similar benefit. So in the medical field, I feel like it's really what's going on in the world that is really going to impact the pricing.
Supply.
Yeah.
Anything that impacts supply is going to impact our business.
And to kind of push forward on the like growth future and the vision of the brand and business, do you guys ever see it becoming a larger brand, like franchising? Let's say, for instance, you have IVOC Los Angeles, IVOC Miami, IVOC New York. And do you guys ever see anything like that, or do you just like keeping it where it's at?
I think we did. Each state has their own laws. It's really hard to work around those. But I feel like now that I'm turning, like what my sister said, I'm getting this feeling, this drive to help others start. So I really don't care if this is IVOC on your IV Concierge business. I'm getting like this new found love for helping people develop their own, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So maybe being a brand within, that really helping others. And it would be awesome if it was a global brand. Yeah. For sure.
I like the fact that you guys have that where there's like I'm gonna say there's a no jealousy type of thing to it. It's like you want to see another brand grow into, something positive and almost like how you guys have grown. I like the fact that you guys are like that because you don't find too many people in a field where, you like I said earlier, everybody gets treated as competition. Where you guys are like, all right, yes, there's competition, but there's also room for all of us.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that you guys are focused on things like that too and helping people, like the whole coaching thing. If you want to explain a little bit more about.
So for the IV business in particular, we have a platform called IV Launch Lab. That is specific to either healthcare providers that want to add IV hydration or want to start an IV hydration business, whether that's mobile or if maybe they already have it's a chiropractor and they have an office. Well, maybe you want to add IV hydration as an option for your patients. So anyone can really reach out to us through our IV Launch Lab. We provide modules, and within each one of those modules, we actually do coaching calls. So you kind of go through the module, an online module, and then you meet with us and discuss steps regarding the modules. And that starts you from the very beginning, from like how to open an LLC, all the way through sales, strategy, and marketing. So
how many people would you say have you helped, I guess, start their own journey in this? Do you have a number on it? Has it just been a few, a lot?
Yeah, it's been at least more than a handful of people that since we launched just this summer in June. So we've had a handful of people that went ahead and started their business. They're still in our program at the moment. And then we've had the other avenue of that is sometimes people start the business and they just need some advice on next steps or how, what else they should be doing to grow the business. So they already have their IV business. They just need a little bit more,
You might be stuck on something that we
already experienced.
Went through before.
Yeah.
They just need a little additional support. We
get a lot more of those folks actually than people wanting to take on a whole new business. It's like, either they're in it, they made the investment, and now they're really looking at someone to help them, make sure that they don't lose all that investment that they already put into it. So.
And hopefully, after this interview, you do get some people that do contact you in regards to wanting to start their own business or brand.
Yeah, we're always open to having conversations with really anyone. Again, it's like about networking and just, figuring out if we're the right match.
Okay, I like that. Getting down here to a couple of the last questions, but I kind of want to go back into kind of your guys' background, because you guys are Albanian, which
Yeah.
is awesome. And I love the fact that we're able to spread a platform like this to other young Albanians, because we're normally known in the films as crazy guys like that
Bad
in the
people.
news. But I like changing the narrative and being able to kind of bring people into the news and into the spotlight for things that are positive. And something you guys are doing right now is very positive. Also, helping other people start their journeys is very positive. But what does being Albanian mean to you in your entrepreneurial journey, or just your regular daily life?
Yeah.
I think we just saw from the very beginning, like, our parents worked really hard. They put this work ethic that was instilled with us. I mean, my dad was a doorman, my mother cleaned always, so they made sure that we came to America. We were properly educated. Well, we were born here, first generation, properly educated, and had the tools that we needed to start on our own and not struggle as much as them. I think even coming from a little stricter household, I used to be really upset at this, especially growing up, can't go out, this or that. Now that I live in Miami, and to each his own, but I think that I really was set up with a really core, great foundation and morals and discipline for sure that I got to carry along in my older years.
Yeah, it's a good point, because sometimes, especially when you're young and, you're a kid, you're like, oh, why are they so strict? Or, why this or that? But, like, I mean, really, at the end of the day, that's how you were built. And sometimes you need that. I mean, you just need that.
Yeah.
We got that Illyrian blood in us.
You get to that part of life where you're like, maybe what my mom and dad used to say is really correct.
Right.
You have those flashes. I completely understand and get where you guys are coming from with this.
Like, there's one other thing that I find, like, no matter, again, who this could apply to anyone, but I feel like so many times we go through life and we are challenged by something and we think we're a failure at it. And so I think that is really important. And throughout our lives, I feel like we've been challenged by a number of different things, and we took that failure and we were able to kind of just learn from it and move on from it and continue to kind of grow. And I feel like that probably is a part embedded in us in some way, because of all the hard work and all the things that our parents both went through.
I mean, how many times my dad told me I had to walk 10 miles to go to school in the snow. How could I not push?
With no shoes.
With no shoes on. No food to eat. These things, they're inside of me, and I never will forget that.
I guess seeing the struggle and knowing that you did struggle or came from a struggle is what motivates you to never be in that struggle again.
Yeah.
So I completely see
or just trying something and, hey, it didn't work. Well, okay, it didn't work, and that's okay. How are you going to take that experience and learn from it?
Yeah. Exactly. So. Yeah, because you're always going to fail. You're always going to win. You're always going to be, going on both sides, the bottom, the top. But it's like, from failure, you do learn how to do better.
Yeah,
People always think that, like, if I fail, if I do bad, it's going to be bad. No, when you fail, you do something bad. It should motivate you to now get better. Progress.
I watched a podcast. I can't remember exactly who it was, but it was a woman that said, every day at the dinner table, my dad always said, so tell me what you failed at today. Like, instead of saying, tell me what was great about today. Well, tell me what was really bad about today. And how can you turn that around? So, like, I always kind of remember that. And I really only learned that maybe in this last, less than 10 years of my life.
That's a good way to kind of go through it, because now, instead of just making somebody feel good, you did great. Now you're actually kind of challenging yourself, but also now getting perspective from other people. Like, oh yeah, this is what you did wrong. This is how we can fix it. This is how we can get better.
Right.
I actually like that. That was actually pretty good advice. I mean, even to go off the advice for young Albanians, especially women, even non-Albanians who want to start a business, like what advice would you have for anybody wanting to start their own business today?
I mean, for me, it's always the same answer. It's find a mentor, find a coach, someone that's already been through it, that's going to help you with, like, getting through it way, quicker than if you're trying to do it on your own. I feel like most people think like, oh, I need to just do this on my own, and like I don't even want to tell anyone until it's perfect. Like
Yeah,
it
it's
shouldn't
never
be
going to be
that way.
perfect. We're still learning every single day. I think it's important to stay focused. And if you have this dream, like, just go and do it.
Yeah.
Don't wait too long or question yourself too much, because
Yeah.
that's when the
And
problems arise.
I would also say, like, as women, I think that women should build independence. And so it's okay to, want to live a married life and have children and, but don't ever, make that sort of your
Priority.
I mean, it can be a priority, but at the same time, create
Maybe a little
something for
backup,
yourself.
a little cushion just in case. Sorry, I'm unmarried. So.
Hey, but you know what? You get perspectives of both because
Yeah.
some people live a different life. Not everybody's life is the same. The fact
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you're giving these steps and telling people just find a mentor or find a role model who can put you in a position
Yeah.
to give you the right steps, it's always a good thing. You don't
Yeah.
always have to have the same life to have the same outcome or the same dream.
Right.
Everybody's different. What's one myth about entrepreneurship people need to stop believing?
That you're just going to be rich overnight.
That your patients are going to flood in your first week.
Yeah.
I learned that the first.
You guys ever blindsided by anything like that? Or
I mean, I thought like when we launched, I would have like bookings, so many bookings every day. And then it was like one every few days. And then the consistency and the turnaround, the word of mouth. Now it's many bookings every day.
But does that mess with your motivation and inspiration or no?
I mean, it kind of worried me, but I also understood like it just got started and I wasn't about to give up right when I started. I mean, I never want to quit. Again, like we said, we're constantly pivoting, even if something goes awry. So no, it didn't. It kind of inspired me to go out there more, let people know what I'm doing.
Yeah, and like it can be challenging again, like when there's slow times that you're second guessing yourself. But just know that too shall pass, and then it'll be okay.
Yeah.
I love it. I love your guys' answers. If IV on Command disappeared tomorrow, what lessons would remain forever?
I mean, just have faith in myself. I feel like just this hard work and dedication, like I know that I was built strong and like it's in me. So I know I could do anything I really put my mind to, even though that sounds like a cliche. Like now I know for sure. It's proven.
Yeah, I don't know, like if you build something and it goes away, just, I think that you should be proud of what you're doing, and at the end you leave a legacy. Even if something doesn't work for you, everyone will remember Amanda, the IV nurse from Miami, and how sweet she was and how
Patient
patient she was, and or fun, or how fun she was, right? Like, so I think building a brand is building upon a legacy. So
I mean, I know that even though it might seem like I show up at your house for like an hour and I disappear, like I get feedback from clients. Sometimes I just hear it like years later that I really helped them at a time that
was
they
hard
needed
for
me,
them.
and I didn't even know, and then they'll like bring it up to me or someone else will, and like that makes me feel special. And if this might go away, at least I know that I helped those people in the time of their need.
Awesome. I mean, it's almost as if like Natasha read all my questions or something. She mentioned legacy.
See, that's why she plans. She's the planner.
That's why she's
and I'm
reading
the
my mind.
implementer.
But my last question was going to be, what is the legacy you want to leave individually or as sisters? If you guys want to touch more on that, you can. If not, you kind of did answer it a little bit.
It was a little bit of mixture of what we.
I feel like as a legacy, I think I really like your avenue and the way that you're sort of approaching this situation, because, it is tough to be a woman from, any cultural background where it's typically male dominated, and
being a CEO.
yeah, being a CEO. I mean, even if you're looking at, broad America right now, the amount of CEOs, there's a huge disparity amongst men and women. So I feel like, if I could just look back at one thing, and I'm super cool. We got two, sisters who are,
Yeah.
owners of a company and a brand that we're very proud of.
Very
And
proud of that.
I think, that aspect of it is what I'm
Yeah,
that holds dear to me.
what
Yeah.
you're most proud about.
Yeah.
I like that. And I just have one final question, because you were mentioning like having good reviews, having people come back to you. What is one very important thing that you guys as a brand, as a team, do actually need support from? Or what is it? Is it more reviews? Is it more social media? What's one of the biggest challenges or things that you do need in return for your business that does help you really grow or be seen?
I mean, I think
Marketing.
yeah. I mean, we spent a lot. The first few years was just word of mouth, and that's great. We want you to continue letting people, but I think marketing is changing. The way people get information is changing. So, yeah, I think that might be something.
I mean, I think marketing for us has been the biggest challenge, due to cost potentially. And also you gotta get, even if you want to manage it yourself, it's
like a whole
difficult.
other job.
It's a whole nother job,
Do,
right? So
do reviews help you as a business, or
like Google reviews?
Yeah.
I mean, yes and no.
Sometimes.
I think we actually don't.
We
We
don't
probably
push
should be
that
pushing it
much
some
on
more,
them.
but I think, social media is here, right? And it's not going away. And either you can look at it as, this very bad, thing, or you just use it to your advantage. So, but I do believe that social media is not made for the weak, because you got to take the bullies and the haters and the
we
people
got
that
those too.
people that don't want to support you. And you have to be thick-skinned in that regard, just to be like, okay, whatever, I don't really care, and I'm just going to push forward and leverage, again, a tool, a resource, like social media, to help grow your business. And I think um, we've made some investments over the last few years, and we've kind of gone back and forth with it, but I think we're in a good spot now, finally. That we've gotten, everything going, and now we're getting better at it. So
I love that, and I love the fact that you guys are so positive. You have me here at your home doing an interview, which is cool. But I do want to say, thank you guys for doing this, because this is, very cool for me. I also do like to push our community to do better and treat our women better as well. So I do appreciate you guys for being on here as women, as two owners of a successful brand, a successful company. I feel like you guys will definitely influence or inspire young females, even young males, young people, or old, whatever it is. I think it will inspire a lot with your story and your just overall nature. I think it's very positive, and I think when you have a brand that's carried by people that are positive, you're always bound to succeed, even on your worst days. You guys are doing probably, a phenomenal job. Nobody could ever see if you're having a bad or a good day. It's just overall a smile. You walk into a room, you change people's lives, you do well for them. So I appreciate you guys for that. I appreciate you guys telling your story here today. I think it's really cool what you do, and hopefully it grows in the next 5 years to be one of the biggest IV businesses and brands in the world. I do want people to know you. I do want people to follow you. If you can tell one by one who and where we can follow you, if you're on what social media pages you're on, what's the social media page for IV on Command.
So our social media for IV on Command is IV on Command. We also have IV Launch Lab, so you could
for the mentoring.
Yes, for our mentoring. So those are our two main pages. You could reach out.
So
to us
on
there.
Instagram, it's at IV_on_command, and it's the same for TikTok as well. So
no YouTube, no.
We do have YouTube, but again, with we got to try to grow each one of these. So we try to focus in on one before we
the
spread out to the
Instagram
others.
and our TikTok are the ones that we had focused on the most for now, as we keep learning.
All right. Well, guys, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you for the interview. This was great. Thank you again.
Thank you for
Yeah,
having us.
thank
And
you.
so happy
So
you got your
excited.
page back. You got your page
Yeah.
back.
I know. I'm
We
so
didn't
happy.
talk about that.
I'm so happy I got my page back, but you know, it is back, and like I said, I'm using it for a good purpose. I do want everybody's voices to be heard because we do have we do have a cool culture. We do have
Yeah,
cool
we
people
do.
in our culture. We're not
Yeah.
all just aggressive and crazy. We do have people who are CEOs. We have people who are nurses, doormen, doctors, whatever it is. I want people to see that we truly are good people and we can be great and we can also help each other develop. So thank you guys again. Natasha, Amanda, I appreciate you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate having Ivy on command here. And we will see you all soon. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank
bye.
you.
Thank you.